All right, welcome to the Rocket Launcher podcast. Back from a week hiatus, I believe. I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me as always is my co-host, and his name is.
It's your guy on Mazes.
Oh, you sound very low all of a sudden.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
um, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to direct your attention to the game on the screen. It's funny, the stars aligned a little bit because I wanted to play this footage for a while, and I think we have enough Power Ranger topics actually to really go along with it. And Power Rangers have been coming back up in our conversations enough where it lined itself up perfectly, because I had a rule a while ago where I said I didn't want to show gaming footage on something until I completed a game. And I'm kind of going to stick to it, even though I've been playing the Hulk. The only reason I was playing that Hulk game was to like trash on the Switch 2 game, the Donkey Kong game. But the Hulk game ended up being actually fun. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stick with this. So more footage will come from the Hulk. But I have been secretly playing Power Rangers Super Legends for a little bit of a while now, from I want to say many months, because I didn't really play it like straight through. I would just play through a chapter or so here and there right before like a Game Pass game or something. And so we got some Power Ranger news, really small news, and then like some other stuff, but I just want to give my impressions of this first. This was from the PS2 Xbox era. I believe it also was on GameCube, if I'm not mistaken. This is the PS2 version, so this is a blast from the past. And we have been talking about a couple Power Ranger related topics. And I had thought like, oh, I gotta finish this so I can get some footage to go. And what's cool is I actually do have enough footage from this game that will last many weeks if I really wanted it to. The latest game that had came out for Power Rangers was the Rita Rewind game. That game, it was like if you blinked, it was over, right? So it was like 2.5 to 3 hours. I will say, if anybody was interested in finding this out in the wild or maybe going through emulation, this is at least a 8 to 10 hour experience. I have plenty of footage to really have on this. Is like this will last a little while in rotation with everything else. It's still your side scrolling beat 'em up type game, but it had its own unique story. It was fully voice acted. And I remember one of the complaints you had before about Power Rangers in general is that we focused on Mighty Morphin just way too much. In this particular game, I believe this at the time frame was the 15-year anniversary. They evenly focused on different seasons, as you can see right here. I believe is Overdrive.
Yep. Operation Overdrive.
And so like they gave each set their own, time to shine. And it's not only that, this game does have Megazord battles that I think ran a little bit better than the Rita Rewind game, and there's more content here. For anybody wondering, this is fully playable on the Steam Deck. This is how I captured the footage. And I would suggest, if you are a long-term fan of Power Rangers, to definitely try it out. It's not really a title that you would probably play from start to finish, like right all the way through, because it is very repetitive. Like you would reskin everybody, but you're pretty much fighting very similar the same way and everything. And so it might get repetitive real fast if you're going to put in like 4 or 5 hours at the same time. But what I used to do is just do 30 minutes to an hour playing through chapters before I played another game, much more modern game, which is really just, your standard Game Pass stuff. And it didn't really feel like it got old because I played it that way. And so it was fun enough. I didn't have to like really overthink it. And I had a good time with it. I do remember back in the day, people who weren't really big fans of Power Rangers, they docked this game down for one particular reason. I remember was because Tommy Oliver was not in it as a playable character. And to me, I feel like with the oversaturation of Power Rangers as it is, I'm not mad at that, especially when you look at it like overall. It's like you still got more games overall technically throughout the timeline where you could play other games where you play as him, but when you go to like places like IGN or something that like does a review, like you could clearly tell where they're not really a fan and they don't even really play games like that anyway for years too. It's kind of crazy. So for them not, marking it down or somebody marking it down for not having like Green or White Ranger fully playable, um, that's expected from somebody who's not really in the fan base. But if you're somebody who really wanted to see content coming from different Power Ranger seasons that, let's be honest, this day and age is just non-existent whatsoever, you at least got enough content in this game. So that's all I really wanted to mention for it. You'll see more and more of this game because it is something that I have a lot of footage for. But yeah, it does make me think that with Rita's Rewind, it was somewhat of a shame that it just came and went so fast. You know what I mean, when we were playing it and stuff. Because I had a lot of footage of this. This is just like I got a whole folder of it. So yeah, but anyways, we can move on to the real topic technically for Power Rangers right now, which is really your topic. Um, where Power Rangers is in Fortnite. I did see some cool videos on it where like with Fortnite, there was like a video of like the White Ranger dropping down from the sky, and then his Zord was like he was gliding on his Zord or whatever. Which I thought was pretty cool. That was pretty cool, and I saw some other videos and stuff. But yeah, Power Rangers in Fortnite, man. What do you want? Does this make you want to play Fortnite all of a sudden? You want to be in there with all the kids and just go at it for hours
No,
on
not at
end?
all. Not at all. So I just like that there's more Power Ranger media because I'm hoping if its popularity keeps going, right? Because they mentioned that Disney's trying to work on another series.
Okay.
Um, but if the if the popularity grows, they'll continue doing so, and potentially we could get more stuff, right? More Power Rangers stuff. If it's like maybe a proper sequel to Reader's Rewind or another like a better like RPG. Like I've been wanting like a Batman like combat RPG,
Mm,
something where you can actually like morph and things of that nature too. And they can even do like like living the life as like a Power Ranger or just catered missions where you morph. And I just want more like detailed and not just a fighting game.
right.
Like when it comes down to it, so hopefully this is popular enough that they see, oh, people actually want it.
Yeah, like this game here was more of like you could tell it was just like some obstacle courses and stuff to it. And at its core, it's still a beat 'em up, but it would be pretty cool to see a full fleshed out 3D Power Ranger title.
Yeah, in the vein of
Um,
like they did the Marvel Spider-Mans or like I said, the Batman games. Like I want a full like go through the city, fight monsters, things like that. You can morph, you can demorph, you can call a Zord and like just fully experience like that role. That would be great.
yeah. Fortnite has raised some awareness of Power Rangers that I didn't really think was going to be like as big as what it is. So there's a lot of clips and stuff over this skin. I know it will die down eventually, but at the very least, while it's like that, I would like for somebody important to pay attention that can probably say, "Hey, let's try to do something." Um, but
What was that one that leaked that like whole Power Ranger like where you get to kind of edit the outfit and it was a whole thing based off of the like Eltarian War or whatever where you had to travel to and save Zordon and they had all that footage leak where it looked like Rangers from Mighty Morphin to in space. Maybe that can come back.
yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to see more Power Ranger stuff as time goes on. It's just, unfortunately, it might just be all Mighty Morphin for right now. Um, but at least with this title here, you can, you know, play some of the other ones. And I had a good time with it and everything. Power Ranger news though, that there is some more Power Ranger stuff that I do want to get into. I have been following the figures and stuff that have been like released to the public. From my observation, if you were looking at these like new flip heads and you wanted them, I think they cost like $13 and some change per figure. But oddly enough, the at least in my area, all of the guys are available, but the pink and the yellow one is not, at least right now. And there is no white version yet. It only got green, but yeah, you can't really find the yellow one and the white one, or the yellow one and the pink one. I was like looking through them at one point. I do like how the way that they are packaged in the stores, that you could do the flip head gimmick like in its package. So if anybody who collects some of these type of figures like how I would, who don't really want to take them out the package, you can at least do the gimmick through the back of it without, you know, ripping it out the package. Because at this point, I don't really feel the need to like take it out the package if I wanted one. I did have the white flip head when they did it for Hasbro, because I never had a full white one when I was younger. But that particular one, you couldn't do the flip head gimmick through the package. um, but I do like that at least Power Rangers is getting its own like rehash in the stores. Hasbro, when they had like a whole bunch of their figures, like these things were like really not in the stores at all. Um, I'll take what I can get for now, but I would like for them to at least have the yellow and the pink one in the store a while, along with everything else, because right now it just doesn't seem like it's there. And then that really, really expensive Megazord from this Playmates line. Um, I think I mentioned to you, but I don't know if I had mentioned it the last time we talked about it, but each like piece of that Zord is like $23 or $24. And so once you finally get all five, you know, you spent 100 plus, right? Now the Zord itself, like the only thing that it's got going for it is like it's really, really big compared to the other ones, the other versions of it. I think it stands as like 15 plus inches tall, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a big figure, while a lot of the old Megazords are really hovering around 9 or 10 inches tall. Um, that's the only thing it's got going for it. Other than that, it still looks a little cheaply made. But I will give them some credit. Most of it is in the store right now. I do think that they should have had all of it in the store for the people who really want it. But I believe the Pterodactyl, the pink Zord, and then the Mastodon, the black Zord, is not in the stores with the set. But if you was to go into a normal like Walmart, because I don't know if they have a full partnership with Walmart, but Walmart has a lot of their stuff. You will see the Tyrannosaurus, you'll see the Triceratops, and then also the saber-tooth tiger. Those three are there. The other two are not. And I think it's kind of crazy because it's like, well, now you spent close to $75+ on a figure that you can't complete yet. And so I will have to take some points away for that. But at least the other three are in there. I don't know if they're doing it in a particular wave on purpose, but the other ones are not in there. Online, they're advertising as if everything is available, but you can't really see the rest in the store, and I don't think it's available to be purchased online like that. You have to go to the store, basically. At least in my area. The putty was advertised. I did not see a putty at all. I did see a Rita Repulsa figure. And I think there might be a Godar out there, but I did not see a Godar. The other thing I wanted to mention, they have the Morpher that's in the stores. The Morpher is like 20 something dollars. It comes with like most of the coins. Very, very cheaply made. I mean, it's not on any level compared to like the Legacy or the Lightning Morpher line. So if you're really looking for something quality, you got to dig the internet for one of those. But that, I mean, it looks like something you would give to a kid. Most of this stuff does look like what you would give to a kid, even though the fan base is like all adults at this point. Um, but that's what I've seen in the store. Have you seen any of these things in the store? Any of that?
No, but in defense, I haven't really looked. So
Okay, I've only really seen this at Walmart. I do not know if GameStop or somebody else might actually have it there. But it is like it's got its own section in Walmart. So Walmart has presented this as like a thing. It didn't just like have like a tiny little section right next to a bunch of other toys in the toy area. It's like it has its own literal section with like the cardboard thing that it has like all the stuff stacked in there. So at the very least, if you do want any of this stuff, it should be ready and available in there. It's just you won't be able to get a complete set, unfortunately. Um, but that's the most of it that I want to talk about. Now, I do actually want to mention real quick the higher end figures, and then we'll get back into gaming. Um, so I've showed you the Dragon Zord that's supposed to be a part of this Flames toy version that I believe had the name Kara something. I didn't write that part down, but you know what I'm talking about. That the $400 plus Dragon Zord is available for pre-order, and the knockoff version of the other Zord, the Megazord, is still out there, but now they've reintroduced the original version where you can pre-order the anime style Megazord for the same price as before, $450. So if you really want this set, the official set, it should be $850 before taxes and shipping. By the time you do taxes and shipping from one of these random websites, you're looking at $1,000, basically, for this set. So I know we talked about the knockoff. I'm gonna get to the knockoff in a second, but for the actual version, $850 before taxes. How you feel about that?
way, 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 way too much.
Way too much for a Megazord, right? That's kind of crazy because it's like, okay, you have so many people out here that is still demanding this stuff. You have an audience for this stuff. It's like if you make it affordable for them, you would get a lot of money from them. You know, like I remember the Power Ranger movie from I think 2016 or 2017 didn't really do too good in the box office, right? But from the people that actually watched it, that went to go see it or whatever, how many of them do you think would buy a $800 Megazord set? Not very many, right?
Oh,
But I'm pretty sure if you had made this thing like 60 each or something like that, I'm pretty sure a lot of them would probably buy it. The people who saw that movie, at least, especially if you brought it into the stores and everything, they would buy it for themselves, buy it for their kids, whatever. And I think that they would have made way more money than what they're looking for from, $1,000 basically a person. But hey, I'm just a person in my house. I don't I don't have no business sense, right? Don't they say we don't have no business sense? I just feel like if the stuff was in the store and it was more affordable, maybe you would actually make sales. Maybe that's common sense, but maybe that's too much. I don't know. What do you take on that? What do you think?
again, I think the people who make these decisions have lost touch with reality and don't know how the normal consumer works. So they just try to repeat something that was successful, but it was an isolated success. Like rather than looking at the norm, they look at the exception and go, we can do that.
Mm.
So I I have strong issues with people in charge because they all make dumb decisions.
Well, I do want to mention real quick before this footage is done. There was still the alternative that was the knockoff version of the original Megazord that had this crazy name that I didn't write down on this paper, but um, basically that version was at one point $130. Then they switched it to 140, and it was up for pre-order on a website that I saw called Oh My Primus. That is actually a website for like high-end figures and stuff. And so that same website, funny enough, is selling the regular version for actually more than a $400 price tag. I think it was like five something. So they're trying to get a profit off of it on itself. But if you were to buy the $140 version from that website, then they're going to try to charge you $116 for shipping. That's something I don't know if I have mentioned before, but that will run you all together $256 before tax. Now, this is the knockoff version. I watched some videos on it. The knockoff version does look almost one to one to the regular one, with just some slightly different colorations. But I'm pretty sure once you just have it in front of you, it's not going to matter anyway. So I was checking around. I was like, that's kind of crazy. And I found another website that I believe is called Tommy Store that does not charge you for the shipping, but they still charge around $130 for this thing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance for the sake of the podcast and the culture just to see. And right now I'm still waiting for it to come in the mail because it is coming from Hong Kong or whatever. And actually, I think has made it to Los Angeles, but it's been there for a few days. And I think it has to come through customs or whatever. So we gonna see. But I've seen enough videos where it looked one to one, and it looked good enough. I don't know if I've mentioned before. I probably have. I have so many of these gift cards given to me from my job that I can afford to take the chance. So I decided to take the chance. And not only that, I took a chance on a whole nother figure. I just sent you, I think, an Amazon link to it. But there was a Transformers figure that was Megatron that was supposed to be a concept of Megatron from the latest Beast movie, Transformers Rise of the Beast, I think is what it was called. And so in the movie, I don't think he had different transformations because it said like concept on the original art. But this was another figure that was made hard to get, and the official version coming from the Transformer people themselves was charging $171 for it. And I was like, no, basically, right? And I actually found a knockoff version from the website TF Safari, which is another website that I follow for years that has a lot of high-end figures. And they only charged $26 for this thing. And the difference was that it did not have the sticker on the chest, the Decepticon sticker. It was like just a smooth sticker. Everything else was one to one. I was like, okay, I'll take a chance on that. That actually was ready and available in the States, so I got it right away. I haven't actually had a chance to really transform it or nothing, but the figure was solid. It was solid. And I was like, okay, $26 versus $171. It's a big difference, right? And it kind of leads into my other topic real quick right before we get into the shows, where I just wanted to say, like, I think the knockoff figures is almost similar in certain ways to what emulation is to like the real video games. I know that might sound weird in a way, right? Because you technically do still buy these things, but I don't feel like it's a bad thing to get knockoff figures, and I don't feel like it's a bad thing to emulate. And maybe I'm just like all abstract about it, but There's still some value out there for somebody who really does want a certain type of figure but doesn't want to spend a crazy amount of money. I'm cool with spending $26 on a figure that's like around the size of an action figure but a little bit bigger, versus 170, with the difference being like one logo. You know what I mean? Or maybe 130 versus 450, with the difference being a slightly different shade color. You know what I mean? Or I could imagine that when the Dragon Zord becomes a knockoff, then there's probably another 150 there, or 130, whatever, versus like another 400. You know what I mean? And it's like, if they had did it correctly, I wouldn't have had to do that. But because they don't want to, do it correctly, then they kind of, in my eyes, they left me no choice. I'm gonna be honest. They left me no choice. Because why am I spending bill money on something like that, right? I don't know. What do you think of that? Am I taking it too far? Am I overthinking it? Maybe I am.
No, I agree with you.
So, I just wanted to do that real quick. I'll go over that stuff real quick. The Power Rangers footage is over. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Metroid Prime remastered for the Nintendo Switch, the first Switch. I did play this one legitly, so for all you Nintendo cops out there, I do own this. I do own the Switch. This is real footage coming from the Switch. However, they haven't come out with a Metroid Prime 2 for the Switch yet. I'm just saying. That's up next. Y'all got some time before I get into it, but if I ain't about to wait forever, I got it, and I can get the footage no different than the last game. So, with the footage that is on this screen, I think we got like 40 minutes of this, which is way more than enough time for us to talk about a couple of different showcases. There was a Nintendo Direct showcase that was like more third party that happened, I think, a week and a half ago. And then there was one that was a few days ago that was called the Indie Showcase. And I think we can go through both of them back to back. We'll start with the one that was like a week and a half ago just to catch up. And then we'll come back to the one that was like, a few days ago. And we'll just go over that information. You saw both shows, right? Were you enthusiastic about them? Were you excited? Find some stuff that you might like? Tell me about it.
I was enthusiastic about the Nintendo shows, like,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, there was some okay stuff there. I don't think there was nothing really that caught my attention.
Okay.
For the most part, like, which one did you want to talk about first? The Indie World or the Direct?
The Direct from more than 10 days ago. I also want to mention real quick, right before we talk about it, there was a piece of news that went out there that maybe I can get your take on real quick. It's kind of funny, but Nintendo like randomly felt the need to let the public know that, or they confirmed, is what they said, that Mario and Peach are just friends, and they've always been just friends.
That like made Mario look bad, to be honest.
It
I don't
did.
know, like,
It was funny to
I mean,
me.
he out here trying to save his friend, but like now it's like, are you saving your friend, or are you just not letting her like hang out with Bowser? Like,
I
what's
guess it
happening?
was just goofy to me. I'm like, everybody else has interpreted it like how they would normally interpret it. Like, they just kept it classy and clean between those two. But like, there being like some sort of interest or whatever, that's been done in so many cartoons, so many Disney type movies. It's like, was it necessary for them to like really confirm that? Was that really going to change anything? I don't
It
know.
doesn't.
But
Well, it does actually. It makes Mario look worse. It's like, bro, why are you wasting your time? Let her save herself.
yeah, I don't know why they felt the need to go there, but they went there. It's not
Plus,
going to change.
Luigi with Daisy, they not taking that away.
Yeah, it ain't gonna change how I feel about Nintendo. I'll consume products here and there, whatever. Real quick, this boss fight was kind of cool. It was cool, but anyways, Nintendo Direct, the partner showcase from I believe July 31st, was about 27 minutes.
They were like, look at the corner. to see if the game comes out on Switch or Switch 2 or both.
Yeah, they tried to explain that
Um,
in the beginning, right?
yeah, there was so the two that thing. Oh, was there two? No, there was one thing I wanted to talk about from here.
Okay.
Um, and I believe it was the game, um, Chronos. It might have been Chronos. It was a horror game that
Yeah.
they advertised.
Hmm.
Um, Either Chronos or Twin Wrath. I don't know. It was one of
Well,
them, but I remember it
Chronos:
was.
The New Dawn was advertised here. That was a game that I had mentioned before. Where I was like, from the new games that they showed from, I believe the summer showcases from before. That was one of the top five ones because it reminded me of like a watered down version of Callisto Protocol, but just like another horror game that's similar.
However, the
Yeah,
narrators ruined it.
they did.
That was my issue, cause like it was just like, basically they were on some like ooh spooky background, like it was just like
Because they keep
let me
trying to talk to you like a 4 year old. I actually had that in
yeah
my notes for one of these shows. I think the second show, like they're still talking to me like I'm a child.
and I just noticed it here. I think especially because it was like, when they're just like, oh look at the realest Madden ever built, or like, get back to your roots with the Plants vs Zombies. It was like okay whatever, but it was for that game specifically where it was just like. You
It
and your
took away
friends
from
watch
it.
out for the scary stuff, and it was
Yeah,
just like, well, now this doesn't feel scary.
it was
Like
kind of
it's
cringe.
it instantly dropped to a PG, like thing.
Because
It
they were
was just
doing
yeah,
the like they talked to you like PBS with a whole bunch of puns and everything.
yeah.
I'm just like, why do they still feel the need to do that? I don't understand.
I don't
Majority
know.
of their fan base is grown. They were built off of like old school Pokemon, and they all grown.
Yep.
No
Also, the
different than
ones
like
who
Power Ranger fans.
the kid fans are gonna watch very specific trailers, not the full showcase.
Yeah,
So it's like, who are you like again? Who is this for? Because again, yeah, like it's just like the kids. Like anyone who's watching the showcase does not want to hear child voice. Like that's
yeah.
how it's just weird. But like I just remember it specifically out of all the games because at this point now it's just I know they're gonna do it,
Hmm.
so I don't care as much. But it just ruined that game.
Technically, I pulled more titles from the first showcase, but
Mm,
really everything that I wrote down, I'm gonna be honest, I had cross referenced and just wish list on Steam, not actually Nintendo's eShop. Um, and on top of that, majority of this show was just a port show, right?
yeah.
Because everything was either already available right now on other consoles and PC, or when it's set to come out, it's also coming out on the other platforms too. Now, of course, I'm not gonna bash it for it too much because it's like this was a partner showcase, right? It wasn't first party. I just kind of was just like, like I would have liked for it to be some more indie titles like the second show, but like at least a little bit more exclusive. Because it just kind of felt like they didn't really need to make this a showcase, really. Because some stuff was like not new. Like I felt like it was not new at all. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero showed up. Persona 3 Reloaded showed up. I was like, these are not new. Like
Right.
these things are out. Star Wars Outlaws came out, or it came preloaded with my PC. Like, and I bought that PC a year ago, I think. So, like, some of this stuff, I was just like, eh. Now, with things like Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, that's set to come out at the same time on the other platforms as well. That something like that is okay. Like stuff that's like set to come out in the future and it's not already available somewhere else. It's like, okay, I get that. That was one of them that was like, under that category. But some of these other ones, man, I was just like, bro, like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Normally, I would save this for the free games and news section, but I showed you before on the other platforms, Xbox and PlayStation, that had a sale where it was $20.
Yeah, which I would like to point out for Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
man, did people like swarm because like I saw like you sent me that earlier. For whatever reason, I wasn't fully thinking about it.
Hmm.
Which I'm okay because I still plan on getting it around Black Friday time, anyways. Um, but like I looked and later that night, I was like, you know what? Let me go look to see if the sale's still up. It was sold out. Like things were back to regular price by the night. But
Yeah.
anything that was doing the sale, they were like no longer on the Amazon page. Like it's sold out. People jumped on it.
Yeah, I think that might happen with the Silent Hill thing later today, but I'm not too worried about it. Kind of the same way. I want to get it around then anyway. But if somebody gives me the Black Friday price earlier, I usually jump on it. But yeah, that game, I had jumped on it and mine came in the mail. I have mine. And I do plan to use one of my gift cards to pay for that season pass that comes with the full deluxe Ultimate Edition.
Okay.
Probably maybe sometime next week. But at least with this showcase, we didn't jump around too much. The first game that they showed that stood out to me that I wrote down was Monster Hunter Stories 3. They said that's coming out in early 2026. I think that was one of the first things that they showed. And then I wrote down Just Dance 2026. I'm not buying that. I just wrote it down. I was like, oh, they got Just Dance.
Co-op mode in it.
You said what?
I thought it was cool that they advertised like a co-op.
Yeah.
Mode, where instead of just full competition, y'all can like, go back and forth with the dancing, and that seems like in like a party setting. I feel like that would be really cool of like trading out, and you're just like your turn and like jumping out, and like the person's not ready and trying to get like I just feel like that like with the right friends, like I think that could be really fun. Not gonna get it, but.
Yeah, the next thing I did write down was the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Now, maybe you can let me know if I'm being too harsh on this. But I was kind of the same way with Persona 3 when we get to it. I marked down this show for me because they introduced a game that's already out on other platforms, but when they introduced it, they set a release date that's like way over in the holiday season. So like for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, this is set to be released on November 14th, 2025. And I kind of feel like if you're going to show a port, you should say this is available right now. Maybe that's just me, especially when it's a year old. What do you think? I think your audio cut off for a second. Oh, you're back. You good?
Yeah, I had to think for a second. Like, I don't. Yeah, if you're gonna show me don't tell me, like exactly what you're saying. Like, if something's been out on other systems, and I think I'm still, and again, because I haven't really looked at the Switch 2 stuff, I still feel like it's weaker than other systems.
Yeah, but it's like also too, like in hindsight, this is a system that's supposed to be available that's also not in stores like that right now, right?
Right.
You actually cannot get it like that, which has always been a thing that I'm annoyed with. But then at the very same time, for the systems that it is available for, it was a $20 sale.
Right. and then now you're like, hey, buy it full price here later. And it's just like,
and the system ain't really available, and then the game is not available until November. I was just like, what are we doing? Why did they make that kind of decision? So I kind of took points away for that. That's somebody, I'm pretty sure there's like, a purist that are rolling their eyes and they'll be mad at me for saying that, but
I feel like also with ports, anyone who's planning to buy a port on like the Switch already knows it's coming out on the Switch, so it doesn't really need an advertisement to let you know it's coming out on the Switch. It just needs to let you know when it's out.
Yeah, I just felt like for any port that's already ready available on any other platform, it should have been like when it was shown, it should have been like this is available right now. That's just kind of how I felt.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's where I was with Dragon Ball. Now the very next one is coming out at the same time across the floor. At least the next one that I wrote down, which was Pac-Man World 2, which is like another platformer that they remastered basically, or remade. I think it's just remastered. I have the first one. I plan to buy the second one day one. This is not really that expensive, and it comes out on September 26, 2025. So it's like right around the corner. I'm not gonna get it on the Switch 2. I'm probably gonna go for maybe the PS5 or the Xbox version. I
Okay.
think I had the PS4 version of the first one, but I really like these platformers. I'm a big fan of these type of platformers, and I want to support platformers. I'm gonna probably play it on one of those two systems, but that's coming out in September 26th. Did this catch your eye at all?
Like it looks okay. There wasn't really anything in this show particularly that caught my eye.
Yeah,
It was more the like a lot of the stuff I saw, the things that got me like that I would have been excited for. I'm like I'm gonna get it on a different console.
yeah.
Um,
Because the very next thing that they show was Persona 3 Reloaded, where again is the same energy for me as Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Because I'm like, you showing me this, it's already out everywhere else, it's been discounted everywhere else, and now you're telling me the release date is October 23rd. I'm
right.
like, if I'm gonna have this, I want to be able to play it right now. Like, so yeah, I saw that. I do have that already. I have that game. I haven't played it yet because I'm kind of still playing technically Persona 4 and Metaphor Refantasio. So I ain't gonna touch this one for a minute, but I'm just saying, like, if you just go advertise it for somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, you a Nintendo purist or something, you still gotta wait. It's
Right.
like, okay, well, everybody else got a discount, so that was just me on that. Um, did you get this game yet?
The
Reloaded.
Persona 3?
Yeah.
No, not yet. I want to beat Persona 4 before I get it because I'm trying to stop myself from constantly buying and not playing. so, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it. It's just I want like to make progress in because I'm not gonna play it until I play 4 because I'm going
Hmm.
backwards. Um, so it's like I get it now and then don't play it for like 3-4 years or just wait 3-4 years. I might as well just wait.
Yeah, at this point, the next thing that I wrote down was the Final Fantasy, the Ivalice Chronicles. This was the Final Fantasy Tactics fully voiced
Hmm.
version.
That just
This
looks good.
is, it looks good. It's going to be available on all the platforms too. Um, for anybody else wondering, they are charging like $50 for this. Um, I wish listed on Steam, but I am gonna wait on it. I'm not about to pay 54 because I don't really care that much.
Hmm.
But it is something that's on my radar. Those type of games I'm starting to get into now. I know you're into it because you played it like the Sea of Stars and stuff, right?
Yeah, which I still love that game. If people haven't played it, like get it. I'm actually excited. I played it through what was it? It was like when I had PlayStation like the second tier one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't actually own it, but I plan on getting it again around Black Friday. That's what I want to do because
Okay.
I want to play through that DLC. Um, but yeah, I do plan on buying it. I want a physical copy of it.
In the middle of them showing all their partner showcase stuff, they did throw in a first party franchise. This game might be second party, but they own the actual franchise, which is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. That will be another day one buy for me. I believe that game falls into the timeline after Breath of the Wild, but before Tears of the Kingdom.
They said that
Tears,
that they were like it leads into Tears of the Kingdom.
yeah. I am still technically playing Tears of the Kingdom as well. I'm taking my sweet time with that. But Hyrule Warriors, I did enjoy the other one. I think I did make a video on it like so long ago, that a lot of people liked. And so I remember the first Hyrule Warriors, because this was a point in my old video, that game had some stability issues. It had some frame rate issues where with the Switch 2, a lot of people are saying, some Switch 1 games are getting corrected, basically. I am going to be looking forward to seeing how this particular Hyrule Warriors, how the gameplay is compared to the first one. I didn't have that much of an issue with the first one because I played it like a year ish later. But I'm wondering if the other one's going to be coming out the gate with a decent frame rate because I believe when Hyrule Warriors, the other game, came out on the Switch, it was getting like as low as like 17, 18 frames, basically. And it was stuttering a lot. And they worked on it and they got it up to a playable state. But, this is a whole new system. Hopefully, because that's the whole point of the Switch 2 anyway, is to correct the errors of the Switch 1 and then port over a whole bunch of titles because it can play better stuff, right? Hopefully we'll see that, which leads probably into the next title that they show was Madden 26, which is very well known for its graphics on the other systems. Everybody that gets it for the new rosters and the graphics, right? So we'll see if the Switch version of Madden will hold up, but I'm pretty sure you're not gonna play the Switch version unless you just really want to. But my bad. Did you want to speak on the Hyrule Warriors before Madden, or just go ahead and let me know about either one?
I'll cut in. No, keep going.
Keep going. You don't care. Another game I wrote down I actually don't care about. I just thought it was kind of funny. It was a game called "Chillin' by the Fire." This was mostly hated by the community. If you go back and look at the YouTube video for just that game trailer, it was massively downvoted because people just thought it was probably the dumbest thing they could have come up with. Where basically you're pretending to be at a campfire and then you're, those cameras that they were selling. It was like, oh, you can be on camera and then y'all can just sit by the campfire and y'all can make s'mores and all that stuff. But technically you can't eat the s'more, right? Because it's in the game, and that's it. That's the whole game. That's the way it looked. So I thought it was kind of funny. Some of the ports was really starting to come in at this point. Apex Legends was shown. The Star Wars Outlaws, like I mentioned before. Yakuza Konami Kuwagami, I believe. They really focused on 2. And then just casual was like, oh, the first one is also going to be available. And this was another one where they gave a release date of November 13th, 2025. And I'm like, yo, that game been on the other systems like before, like the next gen systems. It was on the PS4, basically. Because that's the version that I have. And I'm like, how are y'all porting stuff over, giving out holiday release dates? Like, so that was still happening and I was kind of annoyed. But just before they show Yakuza, they did show Chronos The New Dawn and everything. And that was mainly the showcase, and then they had like these reels in part towards the end where they just ran through some stuff really quickly. And one of the things that they ran through that I thought was more unique was a NBA Bounce, which looked like an old school NBA game where it's more side scrolling with like 2 or 3 players per team. I don't know if you've seen those before. Those are like really popular on like the Genesis and everything. And they just kind of just casually said it and kept going. I'm like, wait a minute, this is different from, 2K. And we don't usually see a bunch of NBA games, because of 2K. But they kind of just threw it out there, and I wrote that down. Shinobi is a really popular side-scrolling, hack and slash right now. They kind of just threw that in there real quick. And funny enough, Borderlands 4. It was like, why didn't we showcase these particular titles a little bit more? But yeah, any of those titles, I mentioned a bunch of them. Any of those you want to speak on?
No, like I said, I had the just that horror game, the Chronos one, but other than that, it was kind of.
I guess for the sake of the show, they saved the best for last, where they introduced Octopath Travelers 0. And that one has a release date of December 4th, 2025. It's going to be $50 and available across platforms. I did wish list it on Steam, like I said, for pretty much everything I didn't already have, or anything that was really new here, I pretty much wish list on Steam. But honestly, the new stuff really came down to the Octopath's Traveler game, and then the Final Fantasy Tactics, which I do think was actually mentioned before. That might not be new, but I think they introduced the Pac-Man game new here, and maybe Monster Hunter Stories, maybe, not to be confused with the other Monster Hunters. There's so many different versions, but I think that was the rest. I think that was the only thing that was new, but everything else was just like a port. It's like it was just a port of something. But for everything that has already been out on Xbox and PlayStation, I definitely docked for that. I was just like, come on, man, don't give me no release date 4 5 months later, and I can go get this game used from GameStop for like $20 or something, right? So that was just how I felt about the first show. How you feel about that? How you feel about the first show?
Yeah, in this first show, like I said a couple times now, there was nothing interesting really for me. I kind of found it a little boring. Like again, it was ports, but nothing out yet. So just a lot of the things that they showed, if I had any interest in it, it wasn't going to be on Switch.
All right, yeah, my bad. But the second showcase for me, I did write down at some point, didn't do much for me.
Oh,
Still
see,
wrote
this one I had a
down
couple things.
it was ports. Yeah, I did have a couple things too. I'm sorry, but let me first just say, so this particular show happened on August 7th. This one is the Indie World Showcase. A lot shorter. I think it's hovering around like 15 minutes. So it came and went. It's still talking to you like a child with the puns and everything. But the things that I had was really come down to like two games, really. One of them I had already had wish list because I was following already. It was called Mina the Hollower, which they said was going to be available October 31st, 2025. I follow the 2D games, so I was already following this. It looks a little Souls like, almost a horror-ish type game in a way where you playing as this mouse that's just like everything's trying to fight you at one time. um, that was the first one, and then the second one really was just that they have DLC for Little Kitty Big City.
Yeah.
That's it. That was all I had. But yeah, Little Kitty Big City's got some DLC that's coming to that game. I haven't played the game yet, but once I do play it, I plan to play the whole package all in one. That sounds like it was one of yours. Go ahead and speak on it.
Oh, which one was one of mine? Sorry, I just got some messages.
Little Kitty Big City.
Oh, well, yeah. So Little Kitty Big City. You know, I support all the cat games. So that one, I still want to play that one. I know some people who play it, and they said it's fun. I like the idea you get to design the cat any way you want. It
Yeah.
has that nice fresh DLC and going around. There was actually some other games though that also interest me. One of them, a lot of them are out and already on Steam as well though. But one of them is This Seat Taken? It's I guess more of a strategy like puzzle game. Where you got these little like blobs or just like either like little shapes, but the idea is everybody has like personality types and like requests, and you have to try and organize their seating that everyone's happy, right? So it'll be like somebody's like, I don't want to sit by people who are quiet, and like I
Right.
want to sit by a window or things like that. And it's just kind of like a nice little puzzle organizing game. This seems like a nice like background, use your brain, like brain teaser type quick game that I'm gonna get. Like I plan on getting that one.
Okay.
Then there was also this one that I actually think we could probably try out. It's called Content Warning.
Okay.
So that one is you are basically YouTubers and you're going into some like underground abandoned area where you're like filming and there's like dangers and I think ghosts and things like
I
that.
did
And
see
you're
that.
like,
I'm surprised you said you liked that because I thought when I saw it, I thought maybe you wouldn't because I think we spoke on some of the horror games in the past where it was just like, oh, if something's gonna probably jump out at me, maybe that's not that interesting. But I'm
yeah, so
down
there's
if you want to try it.
So yeah, there's that. And I usually don't like games where like you can't fight back. Like I don't like being weak in a game.
Yeah,
But I don't know. What caught me off guard is like it looked like it was your generic stuff until it was like, and then you bring it back and you upload it and try and get views, and that just seems like a funny concept to me. So it's something
yeah.
that I kind of want to try out. It'll probably be maybe my maybe this will get me to like more survival games.
All right,
Because
add
that
it
just
to the
looks
chat,
goofy
and
enough.
we'll keep it on. I'm gonna try to put a list together of those games because I know I have mentioned a few of them before. But if we don't like have a list together, some of them are just gonna fade off. So we'll probably just put an official list that we could probably put in the Discord because there's really nothing in our Discord.
I would also like
So
to point out, looking at it on Steam right now, it costs $6.
oh no, we could probably grab it
Yeah, but
today. Really.
so there's that, and then the other game that interests me, which I've already mentioned before, was Demon School, where it's
Mm-hmm.
just a tactical RPG where you have to like move around and stuff and fight monsters, like as
Mm-hmm.
like some school kids. Um, but yeah, I mean, all of those are already like Steam and stuff like that. So, uh, it's not. I wasn't interested in these of like for the Switch, but those were the
Mm-hmm.
games that caught my attention. I mean, even Demon School, as they were advertising, Demon School came out like a couple years ago, actually. But um, yeah, those seem like the interesting ones for me.
Okay. And that was really it for me for this show for Nintendo. Really, to be
Yeah,
honest with you. Um, if that's really only $6 or $5.59, I'll grab it right now. I ain't really worried about it. Maybe I'll grab right after we're done with this. I'll snag it. But right before we get into the THQ Nordic show, I think this is a great segue because if we're talking about cheap games, then maybe we should talk about our unofficial sponsor who gives out a lot of free games and some of the sales that we might see out there in the wild. So, content warning from this show: if you take the PC route under Steam, is $5.59. That's pretty cool. The free games, though, if we take a look, let me go back one page real quick because I wrote it all down on this other page. Epic Games, they always give out free games. One of the games that they have available right now until August 14th, so right around the corner. 112 Operator. Don't know too much about it. Go out there and watch the trailers for yourself. It is a free game, but it's 112 Operator. The other game I actually did get a chance to look at some of the stuff for it. Road Redemption. This is more of a biker game. You're kind of racing with the bike or just driving, and you have guns. You can shoot other people who are driving.
and,
Uh,
and hit each other with like bats and stuff like that as well.
yeah, that one looked a little bit more interesting to me. But yeah, did you get to see that? Did you look at that?
Yeah, that one it looks fun. It looks like kind of like uh racing, like Twisted Metal.
Well, you know what? I don't want to disrespect the other game. Did you look at the other game too? 112 Operator,
112.
because I
I
really
meant to
didn't.
look more at it.
Hmm.
Because at first I thought it was like your like 911 operator, but then the number was off.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, not really sure what it's about.
Well, the good thing about it is it's free, so everybody can go out there.
Oh,
Like I said
that's what
plenty
it
of
is.
times before, you can just create a platform or create a
It's similar.
profile.
112 operator. It's you're dispatching emergency services around the city. So I think you have to
Okay.
determine what needs what. What's like an actual issue, what's something that you don't have to worry about, and like things keep escalating from there. So it's just like if you send all of your like firefighters to go handle something that was like a small cafe fire, and now there's this major wildfire. Like you don't have anyone available. So it is
Okay.
nice. It's like 911 operator. They're just using a different number.
Okay. Well, it's free. Go out there and check it out for the people out there. They did show the other games that is going to come out from, or at least be free from August 14th to August 21st. One of them is called Hidden Folks. I didn't look into that one either. It's just be prepared to grab it once it becomes available for free. And then the other one was called Totally Reliable Delivery Service Standard Edition. It's a long name for that one, but yeah, Totally Reliable. That's also available from August 14th to the August 21st. Um, and just like how I mentioned all the time, Epic Games, you don't have to necessarily have a PC. You can still just create a profile, use a gamer tag that you've used in the past if it's available, and just save all those games from like your phone. And then the next time you get a PC or a handheld or a laptop or whatever it is, you can log in and all these games will be available for you to download and play. I do want to mention there was one title that's a really hot title right now, called Ready or Not. The console version is like $50, and I was actually about to get the console version, but I saw on the back end that the Steam version is $21.39 right now if you get it through a website that's called CD Keys. I just so happen to be kind of subscribed to them, so I get the notice. And I saw that and I was like, okay, this game has crossplay, and I don't really care about it that much that I need a physical copy of it. Let me go ahead and get this while it is on the cheap, because there's a few of my coworkers and stuff that kind of want to play this as a group, and I'm like, you know what, I can try to play it with y'all, but why am I paying for the $50 version on console when I can get this version right here that's ready and available right now? And I'm not an incel that lives in my basement. I'm not worried about a bunch of freaky content or whatever that they took out of it. That don't bother me. I just want to play the game as is with coworkers. It was like, we don't want to look at all that stuff anyway. But yeah, for anybody that's looking to get this, and they have access to Steam or PC, basically, that version is available through the CD Keys website right now. Now you might want to act fast because they usually only have like a limited supply of it at that price, and then the normal price is still the $50. And I believe the deluxe version has some more content that's like the full 70. If you get it through the console side, it's full 70. I don't know if they might have some sales on it, but go double check on the PC side. But I just wanted to mention that because I did go ahead and purchase that myself. A couple other things I wanted to mention that was like more information from the past that we could probably touch on real quick. Were you aware that Xbox had changed the price of the Outer Worlds 2 game from $80 to $70? So many people, I'm pretty sure, has like already talked about this. We had missed this topic basically, and we had the time off where we didn't talk about it. But yes, they changed that. They moonwalked that back. Anybody who pre-ordered it, they've actually refunded them. Now, obviously, if you are going the Game Pass route, it's going to be on Game Pass regardless. I have Game Pass. I had no intentions on buying this for 70 or 80. But yes, they moonwalked the $80 price tag on Xbox.
That's a start.
That's the start.
Yeah, 70 is still a lot, but you know what? I like really enjoyed the Outer Worlds 1.
Okay.
That like getting it at full price, I felt it was worth it. There was only one issue that I had with it, and it was a big issue. But my big issue was the fact that it had DLC for it, but the DLC needed to be played before you do the final mission. Which
That's strange.
For me, it tells you when you're about to go to the final mission, it was just like you can't go back from here. So if there's DLC or other things you want to do, it has to be done before this mission because it has to do with like factions and the way the game ends. But then if like when I hear that, that tells me this was content that was cut, not actually DLC.
Yeah.
Like, that's how that always feels to me. Even if you like Like honestly, you could beat the game without that stuff. Still, it's like no, like DLC should be post game, or like something where you specifically have to do a second playthrough, not
Hmm.
just oh yep sorry cut. Like I hate that. But other than that, I really like the game. So going back to relative normal price 70, still 70 is expensive, but that's better than 80.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe companies are realizing that was actually a bad idea, going up to 80?
I do think they've read the room a little bit. Unfortunately, when it comes to Nintendo, I don't think that they're gonna budge.
Oh, but
I think
Nintendo don't care. They don't know how
yeah,
to lose.
Nintendo is gonna stay the same, but I think everybody else who was coming out with a third party product are probably not looking to do that because their products don't sell that good anyway, being third party compared to having the leverage of just being first party or something. It's almost like when Xbox has some titles that was being mentioned to go to other platforms initially. One of them was Pentiment. You remember how I just trashed Pentiment? I honestly feel like people wouldn't have even given Pentiment a second thought if it wasn't for the fact that it was known to be on a platform done by a studio that was owned by Microsoft. And like certain games, because you don't have that notoriety, I don't think that you wouldn't sell that much to begin with because you're not known to be linked to one of the platforms that have a console. So they probably read the room, was like, okay, we're not GTA and we're not linked to being an exclusive on the platform, so we're really shooting ourselves in the foot. And other companies, we already see like at the $70 price range, when we have a game come out and it doesn't do good in the first month, even at the $70 price range, we got to fire all these people, right? All the studios are shutting down and stuff. This is it's crazy, and that's at $70. So imagine the turmoil at $80 when a certain studio just can't meet a sales target or whatever. They're just gonna be up out of there. You know, I was guilty of trashing Forspoken when I did trash Forspoken, but Forspoken was a $70 price tag that just didn't sell. It didn't do good, and it wasn't really that good of a game anyway. But more importantly, it did not sell at the $70 price tag, and they really butchered that studio. Basically, they butchered it, and then like it kind of got absorbed into Square Enix, what was left of it. It was like, imagine other projects at the $80 price range. It wouldn't have last. It wouldn't have. We talked about that in the past too, where it was just like, if this would have gotten to like sequel number 3 or 4 or 5, then there's a good franchise. But we don't give it enough time and stuff. They really wasn't gonna give it enough time. If you're talking about at $80, no game would have made it to like 3 or 4. No game. Basically. But yeah, even within this particular topic, there was one other thing I wanted to mention. Well, topic as in like free games and sales. Just a little bit of news that's not really that relevant anymore. Do you remember the game that was supposed to be called Light of Motoram? Light of Multiram was basically a Horizon Zero Dawn clone that was coming from Tencent. Remember that?
I remember.
You stood there. I was like, "Where you at? Where you
Yeah,
at?"
I said I remember.
I didn't hear you. My bad. Well, just like how the Last of Us clone that was on Nintendo got cease and desist, Sony basically filed that lawsuit against Tencent for this title. So it didn't really last long. I think they had to scrub the internet a little bit of some of the content. And it's still an ongoing thing, I believe. But yeah, Sony did respond. It was like, hey, this looked way too much like Horizon. And so they their damage controller for it. I don't think anybody really cared about the game anyway. Everybody knew it as the Horizon clone anyway. But that happened basically. That's one of the pieces of news that we missed. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick that I saw out in the wild was for VR, like the MetaQuest. So anybody who knows, I had just got the headset. There is companies that are trying to sell like a VR vest and also VR gloves, and it's supposed to add to the immersion a little bit. Now, the people who's trying to, so these are two separate companies that's trying to sell these things. The people who's trying to sell the vest is trying to have you simulate feeling like the impact of whatever game you playing. So if you get shot at, if you get hit,
No, thank you.
no, thank you. Yeah, so they try to sell that, and then the VR gloves is currently a prototype thing, but it's trying to add more realism, so like you can feel what you see in the VR, and you could tell the difference between something that's soft or like sand, for example, is what they mentioned, or something that's hard like metal, for example, based on the VR gloves. And the internet said what they was gonna say. Go ahead and say it because I know what you're gonna say. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, there's the obvious part that you already know people are gonna make it gross. But I'm gonna go a different route and then ask, have you ever seen the movie Wall-E?
I haven't. I heard of it though.
So there's a whole part in there, spoiler, where it shows what happened with humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole world's junk and humanity's still alive. They're just all on a ship and everyone's extremely obese and like have to sit in hover chairs.
Mm.
And I feel like we're slowly making our way there. We're like, now you can experience the feel of things without having to get up.
Yeah, and so maybe you can go ahead and experience all those things with it. I can imagine whenever they come out with the gloves, and I didn't check the VR price tag on the vest, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be an arm and a leg. If they want an arm and a leg for the Megazords, they definitely want it for something like that.
I
So
do see a benefit of the vest, even though I think that's crazy. But like, if it
yeah,
wasn't like you could fully feel the impact, but more of a small sensor, it
hmm,
might be good for like a full VR Call of Duty like battle arena sort of
yeah,
thing, where like you could feel where the shot's coming from. I wouldn't want it to feel like an actual shot, but if it was like a small like vibration, real
that's
quick,
what I
so you
think
know
is
it's
gonna be a
wide and
little
you know where it's
vibration
coming
here
from.
and there.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll thump
that'd
you.
be cool. But I don't want that. I don't want a thump. I want a quick vibration to know they're shooting from like one side of like a shoulder or something like that, so I know which direction to run and
Hmm.
hide and like where to poke my head at. Because for that was why I used to not really like first person shooters before I got like a little better at them, is because I couldn't tell where fire was coming from, like enemy fire was coming from. So that might help in a VR sense, but no, don't thump me. Like I
I
don't want
think
to
it is.
feel
I think it's
pain.
gonna get to the point where it's gonna be like at least at the BB gun level. I think
Oh
that's what it's
nah,
gonna be at. I think
I
that's
ain't
what's
out
gonna
here
happen.
trying to be like ow while trying to play.
Yeah,
And then of
man.
course, like I said, people are gonna make it gross. We're on our way there.
Absolutely. They already make it gross. I've seen some things. So, anyways, yeah, that's pretty much that for that segment. Um, let's move on to the showcase real quick for THQ Nordic. I actually felt like the THQ Nordic showcase was a little bit better
Oh,
than
for
the
sure,
other the Nintendo showcases. I thought there
hundred
was
percent.
more going on. A couple reveals that I actually was like, okay, I will probably play it. I'm not too excited, but I will play. Like for
Mm.
example, I think one of the first things was like that SpongeBob game.
Yeah, I
But
want to play that actually. Tides or Titans of the Tide, I think it's called.
yeah, yeah. So THQ's showcase was 37 minutes.
Mm.
Part of that was like a 8.5 minute pre-show were part of that had like a 2 minute countdown that I kind of just fast forwarded. During the
Yeah,
pre-show, there was a couple titles in there. Not something I really wanted to play, but I thought I'll just shout out because I thought it was interesting. One of them was
I'll be
like,
right back while you do that.
one of them was called Squirrel and Friends. Again, not something I really want to play, but it looked like you was like a squirrel with a couple extra buddies, and y'all running around in the trees and stuff. And from the point of view of the squirrel, everything's a little bit more vast and bigger. And so I thought it was kind of cool just to see from that perspective. Again, nothing I really want to play. Another game, Lightyear Frontier. Weird title, but that particular title, it looked like farming simulator, but you in a mech. Really, really straightforward, I guess. But you just, you doing your farming thing, and you were in a mech suit, and then the mech suit can kind of like travel around this like area where you're farming and stuff, and it looked unique, but I'm not into farming simulators at all, and so I wasn't really into this. But I just thought it was an interesting looking thing if somebody cared. Um, One of the bigger titles that we just mentioned, the SpongeBob game. So this was called SpongeBob Titans of the Tide.
Yeah.
This is normally a $40 price tag, but if you pre-order it right now on Steam, it's $35. This will be available on November 18th, 2025. I do have SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, the remastered version, and technically I had the emulated version of the original, but I played the remastered. I bought the remastered and played that on PlayStation. I think later on it was given away on PlayStation. Oh no, I forgot. No, I it was given away on PlayStation, so I stopped playing the emulation version. That's what it was. I bought SpongeBob and the Cosmic Shake. I do have that. That I bought physical, but I haven't played that game yet. This is just them still going through it and creating more games from that. That type of like content that they have, and I'm here for it. I don't necessarily want to buy another SpongeBob game right away. Once I finish the Cosmic Shake, I might actually wait a little while and then I'll buy that. It's still another platformer. I do support platformers, but I'm more into the Pac-Man one than I am this one. But you want to play this? Are you back? Did you say you were back?
Yeah. I do want to play this, although I still have to play the Cosmic Shake. I actually didn't play that one. Yeah.
You sound far away. Was that given away too?
I believe so. I
Okay.
feel like I have it.
I know I have it because I bought the thing.
But I definitely do want to play this one. It just looks good. I like the little the ghost flying Dutchman stuff. So the platforming looks fun.
The next two games are very similar titles. One of them was called Rec Reaction, and then there was Wreckfest 2. Wreckfest has a bigger name, but Reaction is just another racer. I'm interested in it because I'm having a really fun time with playing a bunch of these like alternative racers or just racers that don't have a big enough, profile yet. And so I'm like, you know what? Just give me another one once I'm done with these, right? Just give me another one. So I wish listed Rec Reaction, and then Wreckfest 2. If anybody's played Wreckfest 1, you probably know what to expect. I mean, you almost have like a monster car ish type thing that you're in, and it's just damage all over the place. This is coming in at a very low price tag. They only want $30 for this. So for anybody out there, this is going to be very cheap when it comes out. I'm pretty sure once it's on sale, it's going to be like next to nothing. But Wreckfest 2 and Rec Reaction, did you look at any of these titles? Are you liking any of
Yeah,
these
they
titles?
look good as well. They weren't on my list. I only had two of the games on my list, but they still looked okay.
Okay. I was kind of into what I saw with like Titan Quest 2. That was like the very next thing that they showed. I'm pretty sure
Oh, there
people.
was a game before that I wanted to bring up.
What is that?
Um, the Eternal Life of Goldman. It wasn't that I was interested in it. It's just the trailer
Mm-hmm.
caught me off guard because it was like showing it was like a platformer. It looked like a tough platformer with somebody gathering gold, but it was also told over by like an angry, jaded mother, like yelling at her child about the person being like the dad, I guess, being obsessed with gold and
Mm-hmm.
treasure, and she was just like yelling. It was just like, why don't you like? Don't you get it? Don't you understand? The kid's like, I'm sorry, mom, and like it was really weird.
Okay. Um. So past Titan Quest 2, I wrote down the game Gothic Remake. For me, it looked just like your standard 3D action adventure RPG. But the cool thing about it is it looks like it's also going to be released alongside all of the original versions of this franchise. Like I think it was like two or three different titles. And they said there was a demo that's available under Xbox and PlayStation. They said demo available on consoles. On the consoles that they advertised was Xbox and PlayStation. So um, that's something you can go out there and go take a look at right now if you're into it. Um, and yeah. The next one that I put down was called Reanimal.
Okay.
That is supposed to be available in the first quarter of 2026. This pretty much looked like Little Nightmares to me. Like I actually thought it was like Little Nightmares 3 at first, but no, it's a whole nother thing called Reanimal. Did you see this?
Yeah, I wrote it down too.
You
It
like
looked
that
pretty
one?
interesting. Yeah.
So like for anybody out there, if you want your fix, you can go get Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and then there was like another game that looked like Little Nightmares as well that I forgot about, where it's like these big old creatures like chasing you, and you're like like one or two little people who was like trying to work together to get through a little obstacle inside of a home or something. Reanimal looked very similar to that, like very similar. So there's plenty of content out there if you want something like that right now. But yeah, um, I wrote down Fate Keeper next. Did you see this? Fate Keeper was the game that looked like a first person Skyrim game or Avowed if you want to look at something that was like a little bit more recent. But it had that medieval, look to it, and then you had your powers and stuff like that. Um, and it was more just combat based, just like how Skyrim is. Did you see this?
Um.
No,
Yeah. You
you
not hear me?
did. No, you it's like you go quiet. I don't know. Maybe it's because you
Yeah,
was
it
on
looks
mute.
really good. Um.
Hmm.
I like Skyrim clones and all of that stuff. And that's exactly what it looks like. So I mean, it looks pretty cool. Um.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another alternative. If people just want a quick little game, real quick, that's the other alternative. And then they had the big like reveal, which was really a teaser, which was Darksiders 4 teaser.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are excited about this. I have 1 and 2, but I actually never bought 3.
I have all
Um,
three.
you have all 3.
Yep.
I know a lot of people originally was saying like it's like the first game was something that was similar to the old school God of War. And then they built on that, but like the third one wasn't really praised as much. And
Yeah,
then
they
the
decided to go more. They tried to do more Dark Soulsy with it,
yeah,
but didn't do it well.
okay. Yeah, so the franchise was pretty much done for a long time. Funny enough, I actually had the third game in my Amazon wish list for a really long time. Maybe
Mm.
I should grab it before it starts to like rise in price because now it's got more awareness.
Yeah.
Um, but once we see more from this, we can talk about it. But right now, it was just a teaser. Um, I'm not sure how good it is, but I mean,
Mm-mm.
it was just a teaser, right? So once we see more, it'll be fun. Just to see, how good they can reinvent the game, or are they just going back to the roots? I think it's
I
probably
think
going to be a lot more like 1 and 2. But yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And you get to play. It looks like as all four horsemen because that's what it teased.
Mm-hmm.
I think what made me excited, it was funny, and it also happened with Mafia. When I first started looking at the Mafia, I was like, you know what, I should try these out. And then they announced Mafia: The Old Country. And then I was
Mm-hmm.
also looking, it's like, you know what, I should play through the Darksiders games. And then they announced Darksiders 4.
But it's cool because like by the time you really get through all of it in rotation, then the new one is out, and so you'll know if you really
Exactly.
sold on it. You know.
Yep.
Um, Now, right after this, I actually thought that their wrap up was a really good looking wrap up. It had good music. I thought they did it really well, where they were just showing everything from the showcase in like a mashup kind of thing. Um, I liked it. It gave me they made me give it a little couple more points just because of it. But overall, better show than the Nintendo ones. Better reveals in my opinion. Um,
Hmm.
and at the very least, I still got something from all these shows. That's all that matters. Any last word about the shows?
No. It was nice to see THQ do a show. I like it more like this instead of them being like, here's 85 of them in a week, like nice and spread out, so I can
Yeah,
actually pay attention to what's going on.
yeah. Now, did you want to speak on the potential DC Marvel rivals or DC rivals clone, whatever you want to call it?
I
What
am
you
so
want?
sick of Warner Bros. They just keep making bad decision after bad decision. So even though they also removed all of the Cartoon Network stuff from HBO, and people are already really upset about that, they also didn't learn their lesson from losing $200 million on Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, and they decided, you know what? For our next DC game, let's cancel that Wonder Woman one, and let's go ahead and do another live service. So they are potentially doing a live service that might battle against Marvel rivals, but
That's
it's weird
exactly what
because
they gonna
they're,
do. That's exactly what it's
yeah.
gonna be.
But what's stupid is like, for one, you just released a four-player co-op shooter that
Yeah.
no one wanted, and your thought process now is let's do another four-player co-op shooter. And on top of that, people are going to be over Marvel Rivals, and like who knows what the genre is going to look like by the time this game is done.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
nobody wants it. Just at this point,
No, man, you
like
gotta make the money.
it's
It's about the
stupid.
money.
Like, but it's they're not going to make the money. They're just going to lose more money and then get the wrong message again. It sucks when you're a big fan of an overarching franchise and it just seems like one guy is there and just ruining it and making every single wrong decision. Like every time it's just cancel this, let's focus on this. Oh, that didn't work. It must be because people like Batman. And then let's just do this again. And it's just like, bruh, like nobody wants to run around as like Superman with a gun outside of Fortnite. Like it's just weird. Or like they never know how to do this because Superman's so like powerful. And whenever it's some sort of four-player co-op game, or even they did it in multiverses, all of a sudden he has to become sluggish and everything. So it's like, oh, he's going to be strength, and his heat vision is going to be his shooting thing, and then that's it. And then it's just going to be a bad game. Nobody wants it. Just give us the single-player things that we want out of DC. Like it's just, I don't understand how you just
It's
quit
gonna take 8 years of
bad
development.
decisions. 8 years for them to just be like, well, it didn't work. I wonder
8 years
why.
of this is gonna be like Concord. Like, nah, boom,
Yep, gone. Like
nah.
multiverses failed. Like this failed. I just don't get it. I don't get the guy in charge. It's like put someone in charge who actually likes DC or likes video games instead of some dude who just clearly doesn't want to be there. Like honestly, at this point, I feel like he's trying to get fired so he can get a severance package, and they just won't fire him.
Now this game will be $80. Absolutely, they gonna go there because
You
that's
don't
the
think
whole
they're gonna
point.
do free to play? You get one Batman, one Superman, and everything else you have to pay for.
You might get one or the other, and you got to pay for it. They definitely gonna try to figure out a way to make as much money as they can.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But I guess that's it. Any last words? We went over just a little bit.
Please fire the Warner Bros. Guy.
Please fire the Warner Bros. Guy. Um, Lords of the Fallen footage on the screen will probably return next week because it's barely started. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you for your time. I will see y'all next week. Peace.